Over to you then, Neil.
Oh, hi everybody. My name's Neil Thomas. I've been fly fishing since the 80s, mainly on reservoirs and small still waters, and a little bit on the river now, up on the Dee for grayling. But I'm not far from the fly fair, so I go there every year. And in 2022, I was down on, as soon as I went in on the Cocky Bondi bookstall, there was Colin McLeod selling copies of his book. So I picked up a copy and got him to sign it, and I thought, well, I live in Crewe's quite far away from any mullet, so who knows? But then the saw the Orvis they call it the Orvis Saltwater Fly Fishing Festival, and again, Colin McLeod was one of the stars there doing a bit of teaching, and there was a vacancy that I think it was September. Um, so I went down on that, and went to some lectures and started fishing in the sea. In a couple of days, I managed a few small mackerel on the fly. And at the last afternoon, Colin was running a mullet session, mullet workshop. So we were all lined up outside the harbour on it was a Hailing Island, waiting for the tide to come in and the mullet to turn up. Needless to say, the mullet didn't turn up. But I just carried on casting away and fluked a sea bass, a lovely sea bass. And I caught it on the first fly. I'm just about to tie a mullet back, it's called. And this was in front of the cameras. Andy Ford was there. It was filming for is it on the beach or on the bank. That's right. And so there's if you go on YouTube, you can find an episode from 2022 of me landing a sea bass. And as it turns out, I am now the poster boy for this catch a bass experience. So if I now show you, can't remember how to do it now. Present. Oh well.
Take your time, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, you might have to let me take control. There we are. Share. Share. I need request for you to share.
There you go.
Thanks. There we go. So there we are. That's me holding a uh, a sea bass on the Orvis website. So I was absolutely pleased to catch that on the fly. So here's the fly. I caught it. It's a very simple mullet back, and I'm sure they'd work on still waters. I tried them once, but they weren't on them. They were on white, bloody chamois leather things. They wouldn't touch anything natural. So, but I'm sure as the buzzers are coming off today and this week, they might uh, well go on to them. So, okay, right, maximize this and switch cameras, and we're away. So, okay, apologies about this. It's not quite got the setup. This is my first time uh, having a go at fly tying online on a Zoom meeting. So I'm going to start with Kamasan B175 size 12. Most of the flies from Colin's book are on size 12s. A couple of red beads on the hook. It's a bit big, the bend.
Sometimes they don't want to go on, do they?
They're a little bit longer and yeah, too long. There we are. Right, how's that? Do you try and zoom in?
That's it.
Okay, great.
Oh,
So
just gone out of focus. Touch the hook, and it'll probably bring it back in.
yeah, it's going to be one of these. It's going to be in and out of focus. I couldn't get it to work last night. So going on with some. This is 14 nought shear thread. Any nano thread or anything will do. A little redwood tail.
Do you want to try zooming out a little, Neil? See if that'll get it into focus.
Okay. Any better?
That's better. Still not in focus for some reason. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So you got two beads on there,
Yeah, two of these seed beads they're called. The lure flash to them.
little glass beads.
Yeah, little glass beads. Red's the best color. You can see them. And then just a little redwood tail, for your red tags and your Zulus. Got it short. And then I'm going to take some peacock. No, the rib. The rib is fine flat gold tinsel. I like this old stuff. It's really good on hare's ears, and it's metallic.
Is that lager tan?
No, no, it's just I've had it for years. Just a flat gold tinsel. And then peacock herl body. Now, with peacock herl, I found this out very recently. It starts at the base and then tapers out to the point. So at the point, it's very fragile. Um, so you can see how easy it is to break up the top. Um, so if I was doing this for show, I'd tie it in and then by one end and wrap it in. But all I do, I like to make a rope for all my dial backs and things, and that one just completely snapped. Very brittle. So I'm gonna tie it in, lift it up, twist it round so you've got this rope. I really need to tie without my glasses. There we go. It just makes it more durable.
I was going to say it gives it more strength.
Well, they don't have sharp teeth, they have a flat mouths, and then 3 or 4 turns of rib. I'm not doing this very well. Yeah, how's that look? Yeah, it's fine. Whip finish. I'm a real fan of these rotary tight ones. I can do it with my hands, but they tend to uh, get stuck on the skin and everything. So yeah. They have it. The mullet back. I've come over that second.
You got a name for that, Neil?
It's called the Mullet Bach, as like the dial Bach for
Yeah.
mullet. So yeah, yeah, and I'd obviously give these a coat of varnish at home. So yeah, cracking up fly, Mullet Bach. So the next part of the story is Colin McLeod runs hosted trips to Cuba. And again, there was a vacancy coming up, so I decided to jump on one of those and a week catching bonefish and some jacks, and I even managed a tarpon. I'll come on to the tarpon, but we were getting all the bonefish on a couple of patterns, which I'm going to tie for you tonight. I'm going to start off with hooks. So there's three hook patterns I like. Sorry, hook manufacturers I like. I've had uh, I've had a few problems with them. So in fact, I'll show you what I mean now. So although stainless steel you think is a strong, thick material, it all depends of the chemical constituents. Has it got enough nickel, molybdenum, and the right amount of carbon and iron in? Because if and is it tempered well? If it's not tempered well, it'll do this. See that?
Oh yeah, that snapped easy.
Yeah, yeah. So this was chatting to Paul Snaney last time he was on. So this is a particular size and make of hook. It's actually the Tiemco TMC 800S. So you have to be really careful with stainless steel hooks. And I only use now uh, Arex, Ververk, or Gamatsu because I know they're very good reliable. I don't also tend to recycle my flyers. I tend to just box them up, get rid of them because you don't know what the salt water's done to them. Try and recover maybe some of the eyes and things. But yeah, and if you can spend all that money to go on a trip to Cuba, you want to make sure you've got the best chance of catching fish, and you don't want your hooks to snap off with you when you're there. So yeah, advise spending some good money on hooks. Now,
Oh, Neil, I'll give you one recommendation for a hook which I think is better than Gamatsu, which is Daiachi.
well, actually, okay,
And they come in stainless. I buy them in 100 boxes.
all
Uh,
right,
but they're apps. You won't do that. You bend your drawers of the vice with one of those, and they're absolutely superb.
oh, excellent, yeah. So the first time was KO Paridon, and this was the fly that worked for me all the time for the bonefish. And those bonefish are great when you catch them. They you catch them in inches of water, maybe a foot of water maximum, and they can't go deep, so they just have to run and run and run, and before you know it, you're into your backing. And they're so quick. So yeah. So this is a Arex 2 SA 220 streamer size 6. I'm going to use thick UTC thread. This is what they call shell pink in 140. So, and everyone has a sort of I'll think of the pattern for a minute now. Everyone has one of these gotchas. Think like gotcha. It's such a great pattern. So I'm getting some plug chain eyes. These are a couple I've cut earlier. I'm gonna figure eight them over just to give a little bit of weight. And there's a lot of emphasis on fishing the flats. So you go wading, you wear these flat shoes, or they're like windsurfing shoes. Move that down a bit more. And you're looking for the shoals of bonefish. And they're not deep, so you wouldn't have any of these on. You wouldn't need any of these weighted eyes on. So it pays to tie them in a couple of different weights, with and without, and also some very heavy ones. Last time I went, it was quite windy and the bonefish was sitting in channels. So I tied some various weights, but the heavy dumbbell ones work just to get down to them. So I would normally put some super glue or varnish on this just to hold the eyes in place. I think that's good enough. So run soap down the end and then stuff a bit there. Okay, and now we're going to use some this flat pearl braid. Flat pearl braid, and I'm going to use a little bit of that for the tail. I keep all the odd bits handy, so you don't waste any. So a little bit around the point of the hook so it points up. There we go. Give that maybe a centimetre. There we are. Well, I'm going to start on the pink legs. So these are silicon legs, loco legs they're called, by Hairline. But there's so many different colours and varieties these days. But I like these, they're called Bonefish Pink. And they just put a little bit of movement, and the bonefish love them. Love this this movement. So I'm going to take a strand, double it over, tie it so it's just pointed out either side of the end. There we are. That's lovely. Trim that to size. About there. I'm going to take a lot more of this braid to do the body. A little bit to work with. And then again, thanks to Paul Slaney on these meetings, I learned how to do a lovely tape body with these. And that is by tying it down to the middle here. Get that out of the way. And I do love to put a quick whip finishing, holds everything in place, just in case you knock anything over or touch the bob in the threads. So and I've not really left enough room for the head. These things, they do like a big head on the commercial flies. There we go. Trim that off. And then for the wing, I'm going to start with some of this stuff, Extra Select Craft Fur by Hairline, and it's in tan. Everything seems to be in tan now. It's real pale color sand. And this is the stuff all the flies used, all the guides pick. I had some tied in white or just off cream, but they never seem to touch those. But this is horrible stuff to work with. So I'm going to trim that off and then get the underfur out of it. Manipulate it a bit so it's all the same length. You could tie it with a little bit more on. Pinch and loop that over. Little to wind it down. Go. Sounds caught on the eye. And then a couple more of these silly legs over the wing, just to give that movement. Is that going to be long enough if I double it over? Hopefully. Yeah. Let's try and manipulate it so it's either side of the wing. Build up. It doesn't matter if you have a really big head. In fact, rather than guys tying them with a nice fluorescent pink as well as a trigger point, but sometimes it can scare them away. In fact, the second time I went, this fly was actually scaring the bonefish. Had 3 refusals on it, so I changed the next fly in the tie. So that was in KO Cruise, which is a bit more heavily fished, and there's usually 2 groups. KO Paron, there's only 1 group going out. In fact, the first time there were Canadians there, the second time there were a group of Americans at KO Cruise. So you can see it's very heavily fished, even though you've got miles and miles of water. So yeah, the pink leg gotcha.
Sorry, pink leg gotcha.
Yep.
A bit like a shrimp now.
Sorry?
A bit like a shrimp.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To keep my thumb pressed, get some blue tack on this button to keep it focused. That might work. Yeah. So, how's that? Move on to the next fly.
Yeah.
Again, another bonefish fly, but it could work for permit, another species. And in fact, the very first day and the very afternoon, I had a cracking time. I caught this fly, this fish on it. I'm going to go back to sharing again. Sorry about the slideshow, but yeah, I'll prove to you that these flies work. So if I how do I shrink that down? Go to the next slide. Oh yeah, there's a bonefish, so you can see pink lead gotcha doing the business. And there we are. This was the very first afternoon I went out. I was in a boat with Colin McLeod for my first time, and I caught this thing, probably about 20-pound triggerfish. Just look how ugly and scaly it is, but you can see there that they've got very human teeth, and they would normally bite through your leader. But because I was using one of these long Ververk shrimps with a long shank, the shank had just got it between the teeth, and it held on. Well, gave a cracking flight, like a big brown trout, just steady and deep and heavy. So
They got big fins, haven't they?
great fins, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Big plump and heavy thing. So stop sharing. We'll go back. We'll tie one of these Ververk shrimps now. Okay. So let's get back on. Right. I'm going to switch hooks now. These are Gamatsu size 4. Active angling to do them, and they're really a little bit lighter but longer hook. Again, good quality stainless steel and perfect for this sort of pattern. So I'm gonna switch the thread. Right, I'm going on to, this is simply just a classic red, a bit thicker, 6/0 that I normally use an 8/0. So again, I'm going to put some beads on this so it fishes the right way.
Has anybody got any questions for Neil? If so, unmute yourself, ask the question, and then remute.
So yeah, I really love these trips to Cuba. I've been 3 times now, and plan to go again in November. But my sight's not good. The cataracts are getting worse. I'm struggling to spot the fish. But the good thing is you've got a guide that does that. They've got eyes like hawks, and they're on this little stand behind you, so they're 4 foot higher, so they get a much better view of the fish. So again, I'm going to figure eight this in. Again, it's a nice simple shrimp pattern, again in the right colors, like a nice tan.
What size hook again, please, Neil?
It's a 4 Gamatsu size 4. Get that focused again. This bend. Okay, and the first thing that I'm going to do is tie in some eyes. Now, eyes are commercially available and in various colors, but the guides there, they like them in yellow, and I know that's Colin's favorite color. They do like yellow ones. So chatting with the White Welsh lad, Rob Harry, he's come up with how to make these eyes, so I can keep them small and I can keep them pale yellow color, which aren't commercially available, and they're really good, I think. So I'll get a pair of these. Trim them to size. Now I tie them on I think it's 50-pound fluorocarbon, and it's quite round and slippy. So what I do is I get some of these flat nose pliers, and then put a couple of crimp them a couple of times along them. That gets the grip, and you also can bend them a little bit as well, so they stick. When you tie them, they stick so they're pointing up as well. So I'll do that on both. I really do like these flat nose pliers as well as for debarbing hooks. They're great for fly tying, just to manipulate materials and get them going, get them how you want.
After using your teeth.
Yeah, no, I've got soft teeth, so I'm going to tie those in. In fact, that's a little bit long. Trim that a bit more. See, when you tie them, you need quite a lot of length to hold and manipulate. So it's quite an involved process. You burn the end, you then put a light UV resin on to start with, then the yellow nail varnish, then the black pupil, and then coat it all in a thin flexible resin. So you need to do a batch of a dozen or so, or 20 at a time.
Are they fluorescent as well?
These aren't, but yeah, you can get some fluorescent ones. Well, see, they just are a bit long, these. They come back to where the eye is. So I'm just going to take some coarse scissors and chop them off a bit. I'll try it. It's looking good. And you can put a couple of turns underneath on top, just so they stick out in the direction you like. So next step is the proboscis. I'm going to start off with a little rabbit fur. So this is hairline micro rabbit strips in tan. Here, I'm just going to pinch a little bit off the end. So I've done quite a few of these, so there isn't much left. There we are. There we are. That's just a little bunch of that. And then you need to get the under fur out. And you can use this as dubbing as well, just to build up, because you need a lot of dubbing on these things. Get through it very easily and fast. So just a little bit, maybe 1.5, 2 times the size of the eyes. And this rabbit has a lovely, lovely movement. There we go. Next, to make it a bit longer, I'm going to put some more of that craft fur, the stuff I used on the gotcha. Just trying to get it all the same length. But it may be about the length of the body, maybe a bit longer. Maybe, yeah, a bit further than the rabbit under fur. There we go. Trim that off. I think when we learned some, if you cut it off at an angle, get a better tapered body. Yeah. Some of the loose fibers away. And the next thing is some legs and some antenna. Now, I really, again, got a favorite color. This is the crazy legs in watermelon rind, basically olive and black color. So get a strand of this, put it over, hook it on top, and then come loose. Hook it on top, a couple of turns, and then as you go down towards the eyes, you can pull it over either side. And this you want about twice, 1.5, twice the length of the body. There we are. And these just so much movement and kick. Yeah. Now the antenna. So this is black crystal hair. You only really need two colors, black and pearl. So just one strand of this, again, doubled over like those legs. And this you want much longer than the legs. Yeah, coming out maybe 3/4 of an inch, half an inch longer, just so they don't tangle. Kind of a little bit short, never mind. That's fine. So that's the head and the proboscis done. All that's left now is the body and the legs, the side legs. So what I use for the body, I've got 3 different materials here tonight. What I normally use is just a rabbit dub, again a tan rabbit dub. I've got a couple of colors. One's tan and then one's sand, and the sand has little orange flecks in it. I've not brought them out. Another good alternative is this stuff, Senio's laser dub tan. It's got a bit of UV pearl in that. It looks great. That works too. And those you dub on, but talking to Paul Slaney, the Welsh lad, these are great. It's called Beast Bug Dubbing from a company in Australia, and it has these like thin rubber silicon strands in, so you can't dub it. You have to form a dubbing loop, but it does create a lovely body for permit flies, the bigger shrimps. But I quite like this one thin for the bonefish. So I'm just going to use the rabbit fur. And the one thing I found is the dubbing itself. I've never had a problem dubbing before, but with rabbit dubbing, you've got to get some dubbing wax. It really, really helps. Stick it on and keep it small and not going anywhere. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the waist fur just to start building up. Bit of a body. Here we go. That's a good start. Good start. I'll tell you what, I will use some of this Senio stuff because sparkle's lovely. Hey, it's in focus, reasonably. Focus, great. That's looking good. And then you can add your final legs on. So this with this Ververk shrimp, they're on the side and they give you a really good kicking action. As most of the shrimps just maybe have one or two at the front, but because they stick out the sides, they're give it much more movement and action and life. It's just little things like that give you a bit more confidence, and with confidence you do fish better. And yeah, so tie knot that on the side so they stick out like a V. It's great. Of more wax, underbody. Yeah, I'm a fan of quick and dirty flies. I'm not a perfect tire because one of these could end up in a mangrove or it could end up in a barracuda, and with a barracuda's teeth, they're gonna always win every time.
I mean, does the salt water wreck the rubber legs?
No, no. They're silicon rather than rubber, so they're a little bit more durable. Like they use silicon mats in cooking and things. So
Yeah.
I think I had a problem with the hook first before I have, but they also do they are a little bit fragile. They will get bitten off or chewed off, especially if you're unhooking things, or you get really strong fish like jacks or the snapper. Just give more. Ideally, you want this body tapered. Well, you can see what I mean by the legs. We'll finish it off.
You got a name for this one, Neil?
Ververk shrimp.
Sorry?
Ververk shrimp. It's a guy from America, Bob Ververk. Ververka. And then to get all these legs the same length, lift them up, and then you can chop them off. There we go. I caught most of my bonefish on the last trip on this fly.
So much movement in it.
Yeah. Those little goggly eyes as well. Yeah. And that sparkly UV in the body as well looks really nice too. And again, it worked for that parrotfish, that triggerfish. So yeah, another good fly. Right. Start Clear the bench up a bit, mate. Yeah, so here's a packet they use. The used flies. I also keep them because I like to um, figure out the patterns that work. There you can see the used one. You can see so the legs have been chopped off short, but all the ones there and still good nick. You can see where it started to rust and the dubbing's gone brown. So yeah. So it's the hook I'm more worried about than the materials. Oh, there we are. There's the Wapsi rabbit fur I normally use. This is it's the sand. If you look really close in that, you've got orange, little bits of orange dubbing, blended orange dubbing. You can see it very well on the cam. Yeah. Oh, and yeah. They say once you start flying tying, you'll have most of the materials you need for everything, but you don't. You end up needing the right sea hooks for salt water. You need thicker thread. You need these silly legs. You need everything in tan, which isn't really a still water or UK color. But there you go. Okay, our last fly. I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to be able to get the eyes on tonight, but I'm going to show you one I've done before. So, this is for the tarpon. In the first week, I caught a tarpon on one of these things. Fortunately, I didn't get any good photos of it because the guy was with an old guy with a digital camera that he couldn't didn't have a reader for the card and the photos. Why is it not? There we go. So that's it. That's it being released. But these things are amazing. If you get them, the tail walking, and that's a baby one. That's still about £20. You can see the length of it compared to the guide. But again, there's something else I want to show you if I can stop sharing and go back to there on this. Is what have I done with it? There we go. These. Go on. What do you think these are?
Fingernails.
No. They're actually scales off that tarpon.
Ah,
Yeah. They're very, very strong. Yeah, but we managed to get it up on the deck and hold it for a few photos that didn't turn out. But yeah, these fell off the side on the deck, and I managed to pick them up. But yeah, that's where the black bit where the flesh must have been the flesh with the silvery scale that's now turned white. But yeah, tarpon scales. There we go. So I'm going to do a fly for the tarpon. So these are a Ververk saltwater hook. I really like these. I tie a lot of my Klauses on them. They're a really good strong hook. Or so you do a lot of fishing in the flats and thin areas for bonefish, but you'll come across these little blue areas. They call them blue holes or blue channels, and they can be quite deep, up to about 20, 30, 40 foot. And in those, you get all the fish will concentrate, like the jacks, the red snapper. I even had a big tarpon out of one of them as well. But and the barracuda as well. You need a big, strong hook for those. So yeah, this is a 2-knot 2600 STV saltwater. I don't think you can get the various anymore, very fast hooks anymore, but if you can, they're well worth it. They're really good, strong, and I like the way you got this upturn point. Also, Arex do very good ones as well. So I'm just starting off with a thick black silk 1400 UTC. I'm just going to tie this on as an underbody. So it's going to have a rabbit zonker tail, but I need to stop that going around the hook. So I'm going to tie on a little guard. So again, this is my 50-pound fluorocarbon. The first time I went, they said bring 20, 40, and 60-pound. I couldn't get any 60-pound, so I brought this instead, but I've managed to get some since. So the 50-pound spare. So I tend to use it now for the eyes and for these guards. So bend it in two. Again, we're going to use the flat nose pliers, give it a little bit of a kink to grip on there by either side of the hook shank. That's great. That's set now. It's going to give it a 2 or 3 turns underneath just to hold it up a bit. Yeah. And then a simple tail. So this is going to be black rabbit fur. It's from Fulling Mill. It's they call it Magnum or Big Game. Just going to cut a strip of that off, probably 4 to 6 inches, that sort of length. And this is the fly I caught that tarpon on. So again, everything I've tied you tonight has and will work and work very well. So there you go. Just trying to tidy up the end a bit, the end bit there before I tie it in and wrap it over the hook shank.
That guard is doing this job.
Yeah. Snap the thread.
Must have just nicked it on the hook point.
Yeah, I've been a bit hard with it. This it lays very flat, this UTC. It's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. So yeah, it separates into strands when it goes flat. So just, yeah, nip a few of those and the strength's gone. So now I'm just going to do collar of red Arctic fox. Then, yeah, hook seal, £1.90. Thanks, Steve. So again, I'm going to tie it on the top and bottom on a flat profile. So get a good quantity of that. Well, again, this stuff has got so much underfur and you need just to comb out. Peter, who do you get the Daiichi hooks off? Who sells them?
I got mine when I was working with Toby at Funky many years ago.
All right.
But I know that they did have some stock still in the stainless steel.
Okay.
But you just have to Google. I know no one's importing Daiichi at the moment, but I know Toby's back in with Funky, and I think they were trying to get the Daiichi back in the country again.
Okay. I'll check out their website. Thanks.
But the Kamaguchi, the other ones you use, are good hooks as well, because I use them as well.
Yeah, Colin McLeod uses them.
They are fairly strong hooks, but I do like the Daiichi as well. It's always good to know a few other hooks which were as good as, isn't it?
Yeah, because the salt water's a bit of what's the word?
It's brutal.
Sorry?
It's brutal.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of a unique, a specialist, so thing to do.
I must admit, I don't like a lot of the modern sea hooks. I still sort of an old, other than fly fishing, I use the old bronze mustard.
Okay.
They're okay for if you're tying a fly and you just want it and then you can throw it away again. It's not a problem, but they do rust, obviously.
Yeah.
After a while.
The last time I went, Colin McLeod he did two trips back to back, and the one before he was stationed. They were on one of these boats rather than a hotel, a boat out at sea, and he was out fishing with a big lad one day, and they capsized the boat, so all his fly boxes, and he must have 300 or 400 flies had got wet, and he spent all the next week trying to dry them off in his airing cupboard in the sun. But yeah.
No, I usually rinse my stuff off when I come back, but to be fair, I'm not that worried. I just tie another one.
Yeah, I mean that's my philosophy as well. That yeah, even those were rinsed off numerous times and they still managed to rust.
Yeah.
So
The biggest worry is having confidence if you catch something really big that you're gonna have a chance of landing it.
well, yeah.
I mean, I've been hoping to catch a tuna on fly.
Oh yeah.
I've got the reel, got the rod, and everything set up, and whenever I had it with me, I never had a tuna in close to me to catch in the UK. But that's what I want to do.
Brilliant. Well, it's a great ambition. So yeah, I'm just doing these top and bottom, just a little bit on the sides, so it keeps a flat profile because I need to stick eyes on this. Thin it out. But yeah, the second time I went, I managed to hook a massive tarpon. It must have been about 50 pounds, and this was from one of those blue holes on a clouser, and this gave me a great run. And we just get it to the boat. The guide lifts it out, and ping! It snapped the leader. Turns out the leader was 40 pound, not 60 pound, and he was throwing. But he was lifting it up with one hand, and on the other hand, he had his mobile phone. So I've actually got some footage of him trying to lift it up. So it wasn't all, you don't get the trophy shot of it in your hands, but
Well, yeah, but you landed in my eyes. You landed that one. It was because it was handled wrong when he was bringing it to the boat, wasn't
well, yeah. If you touch the leader, apparently it counts in the rules. So yeah, touch the leader.
No, I fancy some tarpon, and I was looking at Cuba back along.
The last two times they've been all around the boat jetty, and you can fish for them all night, but
Oh,
you got to put up with the mosquitoes and there was a lad from Iceland with us, and he fished it every night and managed to get one on the last night, and the security guard there took a photo of it, and it looked great, a 30-pound fish, but because it was at night and the lighting wasn't particularly good for the shots. But yeah,
no, but the take from a tarpon looks unreal.
yeah,
Yeah, a friend of mine, he goes all around the world. Alex Wilkie, do you know Alex Wilkie?
I don't know. No.
He's probably he does everything's flying. He's been everywhere, and the fish he catches are unbelievable. I think he's online as Alex Rook,
Okay.
but good tire as well. He was at the Glasgow Angling last month tying there, but a fantastic fisherman.
Okay.
I haven't got his money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but these holidays at Cuba, they're all inclusive, so you spend all your time drinking Cuba levers and eating in the evening. You don't really want to spend all night.
What does it actually work out costing you roughly for a week in Cuba then?
It's about 5 grand. Yeah.
For a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a grand a day, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah. That's with your tips. The only thing you really need money out for there is tips and cigars if you smoke, but I don't smoke. I made a mess of this. It's coming undone.
No, I don't mind the odd Cuban cigar, I must admit. If you're suffering from cataract, though, like you said earlier on, I'd get them yourself booked in. It wonderful.
I have, yeah. My father and brother have got them done, and I got the first meeting next Wednesday. So
You'll probably have it done within 3 months.
I hope so. Yeah, they said you can't fly. One of the guys at work said you can't fly for 8 weeks.
Right. You got to have both done?
I think I should have both done. I know the right is worse than the left.
Yeah, mine was. Yeah, they've just done my right now, and you will not believe the difference. It's like having one eye without the sunglasses on, and the other eye you're still wearing sunglasses.
Wow.
That is the difference, and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
You look too young to have it, though, Neil.
I'm, I'm 59 tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah, you're about the right age then.
Yeah, my dad had his done in when he's 40, and the whole family then went to the hospital to have ours checked out, and I had little blue spots there that they said may or may not become cataracts, and that was when I was 18. So here we are, 40 years on. Ethan
Oh,
doing
you haven't done bad. Being out on the sea and salt water and everything else like that with the glare doesn't help either.
no. Well, that's really what you want to spend your money on for these trips is sunglasses. The Costa ones are so much better.
Yeah, I've got a couple of pairs of Costas and they're brilliant. I went for the glass ones, not the plastic ones. The lenses are so much better.
Sorry,
well worth spending it if you can get them. You know,
Yeah. So I can't get the prescription ones though. That was
Costa would do it though, wouldn't they? Prescription.
who, sorry?
Costa will do it. Prescription.
No, they've stopped doing it in the UK now.
Yeah, but I thought you could still get them from the States.
Okay. I'm
I
not
heard a rumor that someone's brought them back into the UK again in the last couple of weeks.
all right. I'll have to check. So that's it, almost done. What I will do now, and I'm not going to do it because I'll get glue everywhere, is stick some eyes on. So I like these flat yellow eyes. Stick them on with Gorilla Glue, and then hold them 24 hours. Use a one of the wife's hair clips to hold them in place
She'll love
overnight.
you.
Get the glue to set, and then I'd give this the head 3 or 4 coats of Sally Hansen's nail varnish and really make it solid. And again, just to protect it against barracudas and all sorts.
Is there a name for this one, Neil?
Oh, no, I'm not sure. It could be the Black Death or um, Eat Peanut Butter. Similar. Peanut butter is the one I normally use rather than the which is all synthetic hair rather than the rabbit Zonka fur.
Have you got one that's finished that you made already,
Yeah.
Neil?
I have, but just give me that. There you go. Well, I tied last night.
Makes it pop, doesn't it?
Yeah. There you can see it's got a good coating of Sally Hansen's on. Keeps it very flat profile. Very thin, fish-like. And a lot of movement in the Zonka tail. So, and again, you got that little bit of mono that keeps the Zonka.
And it's come into focus as well.
Well, finally. Oh,
Do you think it's because of the size of the hook?
sorry.
Do you think
Yeah,
it's because of the size of the hook?
could be, couldn't it? Let's try another.
I thought it was your shirt when you're in front of the black.
Yeah.
It was coming into focus of your logo.
So this is we really struggled trying to get this focused on this one yesterday. Well, that's not bad. But yeah, it's focusing on me rather than the fly. But yeah, this is another good. I hooked a 20-pound barracuda on one of these, and it just ran, and I thought it was going to snap it off, but the hook just came out of it, and that was on the flats. The guide there, you take 2 rods, a bonefish rod and a barracuda rod, and yeah, so there we go. That's all I had to tie tonight. I could have done a clouser next time, or
Maybe another time,
but
Neil.
really, you'd only need. When I look back at all the patterns I've used, just really those. I do like clousers with a really long tail though, maybe feather tails. A super clouser I call them. They're really good for just going through a blue hole, getting a lot of just random fish there, jacks, snappers, all sorts.
Jack Traval.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. But a red snapper is what you think it is. But these are silver. They've got long fins and sort of round and shoal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well done, Neil.
Yeah, very interesting, Neil.
Thanks. Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah,
That's a low advice you got there.
it is. Yeah, yeah. So I used to be part of Congleton Fly Dressers Guild, and Paul Little came along, the guy who does the salmon flies, and said, "Yeah, I just one of these Oddham's over under that are just worn out." He said, "Get one of these law ones," and I did, and never looked back. So it's
Yeah.
well used for the past 20 plus years. So yeah.
And it's gone up in price.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, just a bit. Yeah,
Thanks for tonight, Neil.
yeah. You're welcome. Thanks everyone, and tight lines.
Cheers.